Ladies and gentlemen, we have the jazz. Hopefully. It looks like it's going through, so that's always good. So today, we have a three-parter. We have the Homecoming, the Circle, and whatever the third one is. I don't remember the name. I remember the Circle. But yeah, it's a three-parter episode. We never get those in Star Trek. We get two-parters, and we have like one seven-parter, I guess. The Siege, that's right. That one's pretty good. But first things first, we've got a few minutes to kill before we get into the episode itself. So what do we remember from the Homecoming? Let's see, the Homecoming. I need a bigger paintbrush. There we go. It's not easy drawing with a mouse. The Homecoming. There we go. So there's Quark with his big ol' Ferengi ears. And I don't know why I made her head so small. And there's Kira with her fancy nose, right? And then Quark has this fancy Bajoran earring thing that he gives to Kira with her weird nose. And Kira gets all mad at him. She's like, "Where did you get this? This is a famous Bajoran earring. How did a Ferengi get his hands on it?" But he's like, "Chill, lady. I got it legit. Don't worry about it." So then Kira takes it home. So now she has the big fancy necklace. And she looks at it and tries to get confirmation. She goes to her computer, I think, and goes and looks up some stuff. And she's like, "Oh, this is the necklace of the very famous man Lee Nollis, who also has a wrinkled nose, but I'll give him eyes to differentiate himself." There. Kira's somewhat upset. Lee Nollis is pretty chill. So she learns this, so she goes over to talk to Cisco, who is also angry. He likes yelling at people a lot. And she's like, let me get a dialogue bubble here. She's like, "Cisco, I need a runabout. Because I need to go and free people from that prisoner of war camp on Cardassia. Because there's like a jail thing, and Lee Nollis is in there, and he's real upset about being in there. And there's a bunch of other people there, but we don't care about them." So Cisco doesn't want to give her one, so he's like, "Oh, are you sure you can do with one runabout? Do you need like 5 runabouts? How many runabouts do you need, Kira, to go and break the Cardassian law and antagonize people?" But then something happens, I don't know. I don't remember what. So she does get her runabout. This is what runabouts look like, by the way. She goes and gets the runabout. And then she goes to the Cardassian prison planet and finds Lee Nollis and a bunch of other Bajorans. And then she goes with O'Brien, that's right. There's O'Brien and there's Kira. They go together, and Kira pretends to be a prostitute to get the Cardassians to let her in. And then she gets inside the prison, and she and Lee Nollis go home. And there's more to it, but I'm out of time because we're coming up on the start time of the episode. It's okay. We have a credit sequence to. Nope, don't show that. Nope, that's copyrighted. All right. Hope everyone's queued up to the Homecoming. The Homecoming, Season 2, Episode 1. In 3, 2, 1, play. We can finish the drawing during the credit sequence. It'll be fine. Oh, there's the weird leathery Twi'leks from before. Leave him alone, Odo. He's got a business to tend to. Oh, yeah, I remember this part. This is a really good rule of acquisition that we get here. No, no, no. You don't want Kara to go in anything but the Rio Grande. If you send her in the Rio Grande, she succeeds. If you don't send her in the Rio Grande, she's got like a 70% chance of failing. You always send the Rio Grande. Them's the rules. He breaks the law, Odo's upset. He helps the law, Odo's upset. It's very rude of you, Odo. Give a man a break. Hmm. That Quark does seem like a stand up gentleman. He's kind of correct there. Odo loves that man. We all know this. Okay, maybe not that part. Is we're in season 2 now. Is Rom still evil? Does Rom still want to murder people? The voice is still a little bit off. It's a good rule. Okay, well, she's wearing a suit that. Is she evil? She looks evil. She's wearing dark skin tight colors, which, I mean, in Star Trek at least, this is never a good sign. I don't think she has a major role, though. I think it's just implied evil. Is it free? Does Quark have to buy it? Wow, she's just straight up giving it to him. What? That can't be right. What? Hmm. Also, what the heck is. What is Kara doing? I mean, praying to the prophets, I guess, but just looks weird. Quark, stop harassing her. Maybe he'll sell. Oh, that's right. He's probably gonna. Wow, Kira got changed real fast. That was impressive. Yeah, he's totally gonna try and sell it to her. So he can try to make a profit off this. All right, so we're up to the part where Quark gives Kira the earring, and then she's gonna go and look around at it. Oh, we got a title sequence. Okay, title sequence. Let's finish the drawing. Um, she and O'Brien go. She pretends to be a prostitute. They get into the jail. Um, Kara, with her weird nose, starts shooting at the Cardassians with their weird neck ridges, and everyone, almost everyone, goes home. They have to leave a few people behind with their guns to hold off the Cardassians, while the Cardassians with their neck ridges are chasing them to the runabout. And they fly away. They go home. And then once they get home, they get a phone call from Gul Dukat and his neck ridges. And he's like, nah, man. We didn't know about that prison camp. I don't know what you're talking about. But now that we do know about it, we totally let everyone out. It's cool. And then some other stuff happens where they're like, I don't believe Gul Dukat, or what's Gul Dukat doing, or oh, there's also a bit somewhere in the middle here. I'll just put it in the middle because I don't remember. They have a door or a wall or something, and then someone spray paints a circle on it. Just a nice spray painted circle. You know, like a wreath. And after Gul Dukat shows up, Lee Nollis is there talking to Cisco, and he's upset because he pulls a Vreenak and goes, it's a fake, except he calls himself a fake. Because all he did was murder a Cardassian in his underwear instead of a heroic struggle. And hey, Sol 3 is a perfectly valid way to refer to Earth. Sol 3 is good. Where you go, Jake? You should go to the Hollow Suites. Yeah, there you go. My goodness, Cisco. There's probably parental controls on the Hollow Suites. You could just. Maybe he wants to take her to a baseball game. You don't need to freak out about it. I like Kira's expression here. Just just looking back and forth with her eyes wide open like Gowron. Oh yeah. This part. Oh man. Now that we're into season 2, I'm starting to remember all kinds of stuff. Season 1 it was just kind of I only very vaguely remembered what was going on. I'm remembering a lot more now. I remember specifically here, Cisco just does not take the Major's concerns seriously at all. He's just here inviting her to breakfast, and she's freaking out talking about prisoners of war. Cisco, this is a serious situation. Cardassia 4 to rescue Bajoran prisoner of war. So she didn't have to go and check the earring. She recognized it immediately. Which, I mean, I guess that's pretty impressive, being able to recognize who an earring came from. Do the Bajorans even have any FTL ships? I don't think they can even. I don't think they have any ships that actually even have warp drive. I mean, they certainly used to, but the Bajoran technology and Bajoran culture took a bit of a nosedive in recent years. They absolutely used to have warp drive. I'm not sure if they still have warp drive after the Cardassians got done with them. You know who the people would listen to on Bajor? They'd probably listen to an emissary. Maybe Cisco could help. Emissary of the Prophets. Oh yeah, they establish New Bajor. Not for long, they don't, but they have a colony briefly. Oh, here's the fancy circle. I mean, this is a pretty minor crime. They just spray painted a door. It's not a big deal. I know it's just indicating that they have a presence on the station, but yeah. Well, Odo's going to have a ton of fun with that particular directive. No low security areas. Odo can go full on as Law and Order. Has Kara been gossiping? Anytime there's something going on with Kara and Dax is involved at any point, it's because Kira has been gossiping about it. Yeah, she's been gossiping. My goodness, Kira, do you have to tell everyone about this? So, is she gonna. Does she get more than one runabout? Is, is the reason Kira gossips about all this stuff to pressure Cisco into letting her do things? Because everyone else is talking about it and asking Cisco's like, "Oh, are you going to do it? Are you going to let her have it?" She's just trying to peer pressure Cisco into letting her do things. You can't do that, Kira. Yeah, I'm not sure one runabout will be enough. Kira has that The same outfit from the episode Progress, where she went to talk to that guy who looks a lot like Hannibal Lecter. Kira has exactly one civilian outfit. I don't recognize O'Brien's outfit, but O'Brien's very rarely out of his uniform. Yeah, I guess her vest thing doesn't really need to provide any warmth, not just because she's on a temperature controlled station, but because Bajor itself looks like it has a really hot climate, so they're not probably concerned about having very warm clothing. Very airy. But why care? What if he's not there? Are you allowed to just go home then? No, Kira. She must really be convinced he's there. How long would it take to get to Cardassia? What's the difference between Bajor and Cardassia? It can't be that far. Distance from Bajor to Cardassia. About 5 light years. Let's see. Star Trek Warp Calculator. Just killing a bit of time until they actually get to the next plot point. TNG era warp factors. Let's say they're going at warp 5, which would be pretty fast for a runabout. And they have to go 5.25 light years. At warp 5, it would, according to this calculator, it would take them 9 days to get to Cardassia. At warp 5. At warp 6, it would take 5 days. At warp 7, it would take 3 days. It would take a while, at any rate. Yeah, it's probably not best to actually try and pay attention to warp speeds and distances and how long it takes. As we all know, everyone travels at the speed of plot. It doesn't really matter how distant everyone is. Well, I guess if she makes up a goal, they can't call and check. Like if she said Gol Dukat, they might say, "Oh, that can't be right. Gol Dukat is off, slaughtering Bajorans off on a separate planet. That can't be right." I was wondering if it might be better for them to just go home at this point and with the proof that they have Bajoran prisoners, and then they could pressure Cardassia to release them. But then Cardassia might just deny it. Whereas here, if they actually bring two people home, it doesn't matter which two. They could just beam up two people and then leave. Then that would be really good evidence that they have someone, that they have prisoners. Though I'm not sure what the point of Cardassians maintaining a prison camp of 12 people is. Is this really worth the effort? Are 12 prisoners worth all this hassle? Just send them home. $29 at warp 5? Is that using TOS speed or TNG speed? Distance of 5.25 light years. I'm just seeing. Oh yeah, that 100% is John Fleck. And there's Leonalis. Yeah, what's Silic doing here? What are you doing, man? Nana visitor pulling out the intendant here a bit early. I'd have to look up what the closer to canon values are. This this calculator is saying that warp 5 TNG is equal to 213C. It's saying TOS warp 5 is speed 125C. I have to imagine this prisoner camp is mostly just a vanity project for the Cardassians. So I mean the Bajorans they're digging here by hand. The Cardassians could just use an excavator. I mean, they're not really getting any useful work done here. It's just for fun. They really missed having Bajoran laborers. If everyone's being shot, now who gets to stay behind? Because it's definitely not Kira O'Brien and Lee Nollis. Is that more than? Hang on, I didn't count. I just remember on the runabout they said 12 Bajoran life signs. Well, they said at least 12, technically. So 4 people are staying behind. And let's count how many go into the shuttlecraft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only counted a total of 11. So if 2 were shot, that would make a total of 13. A total of 13 Bajorans if 2 were shot. Yeah, still a completely worthless prison camp. Completely worthless as a labor camp, that is. Don't worry, those people still on the planet will be okay. They're fine. Man, it's a good thing Leonalis with that phaser blast was perfectly fine for the 2 to 7 days it took to get back home. Oh, hey, Goldukat. Does it burn or electrocute? I can't imagine it electrocutes. Because aren't phaser rifles just basically plasma? They're just highly energetic particle beams. They're certainly referred to as particle weapons. I guess they could shock you. It would hurt a lot in any case. I wouldn't want to get shot with a phaser rifle. Better than a bullet, at least. I mean, it seems based on what we learn in the rest of the arc, we determine that the Cardassians are supplying weapons to the Bajoran terrorist group. Again, it's really hard to specify which terrorist group, because there are good and bad terrorist groups on Bajor. Um, but I have to imagine the real reason they're fessing up to this is just for political purposes. They've already lost the important prisoner they actually cared about. What's the point in keeping the rest? Just get some political points. Man, they had a multi-trip back to Deep Space Nine, a multi-day trip. Dude didn't even wash his hands that whole time back. My goodness, Lee Nullis, that's not very hygienic of you. I'm excited to meet First Minister Jaro. Minister Jaro is pretty cool. Other than, all the terrible things he does in the next two episodes. Yeah, they're definitely implying that the runabout got there and back in just a few hours. Which begs the question, if the warp scale is to be trusted, and the distance between Cardassian and Bajor is to be trusted, how fast do runabouts travel? So the accuracy of this calculator has been brought into question, but I'm going to keep using it because I'm not going to do math live on stream. But let's see how long it would take to bring it down to, say, 12 hours. Say that there and back was 12 hours. At warp 9, it would have taken 60 hours, 9.9. Still too long, 9.99. So apparently runabouts can warp at warp 9.99. Well, apparently Memory Alpha is wrong because we just determined on screen that they can travel at warp 9.99. That thing's faster than the Enterprise. Very impressive. I think Voyager's the only ship faster. Yeah, great. If Minister Jaro gives a speech, that means Lee Nullis doesn't have to give a speech. Oh, it's true. Voyager shuttle was much faster, infinitely faster than anything we see here. Only that one time though. Those aren't real flowers. They don't look real at all. Those that looks like plastic just dangling down. What are those exactly? Oh, sorry, you're right. Those are absolutely 100% real flowers. Those are Bajoran daffodils. It's a very nice spiky wall decoration behind Cisco. It's very spiky. There it is. Well, a free Bajor is actually not so great. Free Bajor is kind of messed up. I can't imagine that Bajorans built Deep Space Nine. It's absolutely a Cardassian station in design. I don't think it was built by Bajoran laborers. I would think that's a security risk to the Cardassians. If they let their slaves build their space station meant to hold the slaves. Seems dangerous. It definitely was designed by the Cardassians, though, yeah. I mean, hey, that's a pretty good ratio compared to real life CEO versus employee. 6 to 1? That's a great ratio. We're over here dealing with thousands or millions to one. You're doing fine. You're doing fine, Rom. Yeah, good luck with that, Rom. Now, how long does that pay decrease last? Is that a permanent decrease? Oh, well, that's rather impolite of them. Also, those If any of you here are familiar with Legend of Korra, why do those people all look like Amon? Oh yeah, we're almost started Union later. It works out actually very well. It works great. Let me look something up real quick. Open image, a new tab. Zoom in. Yeah, it's just this guy. It's just this guy from Legend of Korra. It's not even the first time this has happened. United Earth tried to rid Earth of all non Earthlings. I've only ever seen Cardassians on Cardassia Prime. I've only ever seen Klingons on Kronos. Other than, the main characters visiting. No, we're not calling it Kling. Kling is a bad name. I mean, Earth is very diverse now in Star Trek, but there was that two-parter in Enterprise, the really good two-parter where they tried to evict all non-humans from Earth, which didn't go out so great for them. There's also an episode on Enterprise where some alien planet expelled all non of their species. Nope, that's space racism. Space racism, Cisco. Yeah, people. There's a not insignificant amount of space racism in Deep Space Nine. Obviously, actually in TNG too. Now that I think of it, O'Brien space racist against Cardassians. Basically, all Bajorans are space racist against Cardassians. Cardassians are space racist against all non-Cardassians. Humans are space racist against Ferengi. Oh, hey, Lee. What are you doing there? Oh, yeah, there's the Vulcan who's space racist against humans. That's right. The Cardassians become space racist against Klingons, too, but they're racist against anyone who's not Cardassian. Klingons are racist against Cardassians. Basically, everyone's racist against Cardassians. It's very mutual. Everyone there hates each other. That, that background there, that looks distinctly like a big portrait being hung behind the camera or past the set window. And we get our "it's a fake" speech. It's a fake speech number one. Though I do appreciate that the portrait of the stars that's hanging behind the set window, they are moving it slightly so it looks like the station is rotating. It looks okay. Or it might just be the camera moving. It's honestly kind of hard to tell. It's a very subtle movement. Oh, he's got a little ship model of a Reliance class ship back there. A Reliant class. Right behind Linalis. I think that's Reliant at least. Also, I'm not sure if Reliant is actually Reliant class, but it's the same ship class as the Reliant, at any rate. Yeah, the stars look okay. It's just if you're really looking closely at it, trying to find something to commentate about. Miranda class? Okay. Might be the Saratoga. I don't remember what class the Saratoga was. USS Saratoga, DS9. Yeah, no, that's probably it. The Saratoga was Miranda class. Oh yeah, he also has an ancient Earth space station on the left there. It's out of frame now, though. I mean, I'm not sure why the best in ourselves from the story of Leonalis is just shooting a Cardassian, because that's all he did. Dude just killed a Cardassian. It's not. He's not. That does not a role model make. There's the First Minister. I'm sure the First Minister is absolutely bringing good news. Everything's gonna be fine here. Is that a real word? Is Navark a word? That sounds made up. It seems made up. I see there's a ship called Navark, but yeah, I don't think that's a real title. That's a space title. Well, I mean, they said there'd never been a Navark before. There had never been a Navark. That doesn't mean Navark isn't a title outside of that, though. Alright, so the next episode is The Circle. There's one scene I specifically remember from The Circle. Oh, they said they made it up when I was checking to see if they made it up? That seems about right. Alright. Episode 2 The Circle. So, what happens in The Circle? In The Circle, we're in Kira's quarters with her broken nose. And then people keep showing up to like give her a going away party or say goodbye or like, hey, we're gonna miss you. And then I think Quark shows up too with like drinks. And then Odo shows up and he's really upset that she's leaving. And then that's about all I remember. Oh, we're probably I remember some things, some other things, but I'm not sure if they're in this episode or in the next episode in the three-parter. There's also at some point going to be that balcony where Vedic Wynn and First Minister Jaro, with their noses, are hanging out and talking to each other. And she's like, hey man, I wanna be the leader of Bajor. And she's like, yeah, you can be the leader of Bajor for sure. And that about sums out that scene. What else happens? I don't think in this episode they take over the station. I think that happens next episode. I could be wrong, but I don't bloody know. Hang on, let me blur and scroll forward just a little bit just to refresh my memory slightly. Oh, that's right. That's right. So, after this part, Kira, with her weird, like, SCP arms, apparently, goes to talk with Vedic Barile and his hat, and his nose. And there's a bunch of trees and stuff, because they're in like an arboretum thing. And there's a bunch of flowers, and there's a stream, and there's some rocks in the stream that Kira's trying to arrange or something. Yep, Vedic Barile. And he tells her to be useless, is what he says. And she's like, what the heck does that even mean, man? That doesn't mean nothing. So Kira and her nose go to look at one of the Bajoran orbs. And she opens it up. And Vedic Barile without his hat, but I'm going to draw him with his hat because he's Vedic Barile. He and Kira are hanging out. And then Kira gets out of the vision, and she's like, what the heck just happened? What even just happened? And Vedic Barile with his hat asks her if he was in her vision, and she was like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Nope, I didn't see nothing. Don't you worry about that. Stop asking me. Why are you asking, Vedic Barile? Why you gotta make it weird? I mean, it might be space racists to talk about their noses all the time, but we've established that everyone can be space racists in DS9. But anyway, let's press play now. Last time on Deep Space Nine, we're starting with a recap. If there are sync issues between the different versions, like skipping recaps and stuff, I'll call out when the intro sequence, when the title sequence starts, and when it ends, so you can synchronize to that instead, if you're having issues with the title sequence, or with the recap. Yeah, now... You know, why does Vision Barile take off his fancy? Actually, I don't think. I just remembered something. This is actually completely incorrect. Vedic Barile doesn't wear a hat. Vedic Barile doesn't have a hat. Vedic Gwyn has a hat that looks like the Sydney Opera House. But apparently men don't wear them, I guess. Or maybe just Barile doesn't. I think he. I think this episode is actually the only time he gets to wear a fancy hat in Deep Space Nine. I think we get a vision of Barile where he is wearing a hat briefly. Because don't we get a vision of him as the Kai, and the Kai has a fancy hat, like the Space Pope? You see, this is why Barile does not get to become the Kai. This is why he doesn't get to be the Kai, because he lost the fanciest hat contest. He didn't even qualify for the fanciest hat contest. Vedic Win, she absolutely has the fanciest hat here. Hmm. Who's making it not safe in the capital, First Minister? Is he even going to say goodbye? Very rude of you, First Minister. Not even saying goodbye to the commander. I'm guessing someone spray painted his door. Which, I mean, now it's Odo's fault. Because before it was supposed to be a low security area that they did it. But now Captain or Commander Cisco's, not Captain Cisco's, Commander Cisco's quarters are done. After Cisco specifically told him there are no low security areas on the station. My goodness. Oh, by the way, the title sequence just started. I mean, you can see it on screen if you want to. That's partly what the blur is for, so you can base your synchronization off that. If anyone had issues with the recap. No low securities. Try that sentence again. No low security areas on the station, he said. And it didn't fix nothing. What is the point of you, Odo? What are you even doing here? Absolutely worthless. And DS9 even has cameras. This station has cameras. Not a lot of cameras, but it has some. Yeah, you have to, they have to be, oh, hey, it's Siddiq Fadil. Terry Farrell. You have to run into the doors sometimes, because, I mean, you have to look completely confident as you're walking through. You have to have complete faith that it will open, or people see you hesitate. So you're going to run into it sometimes. Now, in this episode, how much of Siddiq al Fadil, al Tahir al Fadil, Abdurrahman, Muhammad Ahmed al Abdul Karim al Makti are we going to see in this episode? Hopefully, we see a lot of Siddiq al Fadil, Tahir al Fadil, Abdurrahman, Muhammad Ahmed al Abdul Karim al Makti in this episode. Hopefully, we see a lot of him. I haven't said it recently. It's hard to say. Title sequence just ended. Episode starting. All right. It's a really long name. I wouldn't say top marks for pronunciation. You might say top marks for effort. For effort in pronunciation. There was an attempt. But Odo, you love the rules. What happened to your respect for the law, Odo? Oh, Philip Anglim as Vedic Barile. Special guest Louise Fletcher as Vedic Win. That should be fun. I mean, that could also be just referring to the makeup, because he's much smoother in this season than in the last season. I heard that Sadiq changed his professional name, his screen name. Not like, oh, there he is. I heard he changed it because people couldn't pronounce Sadiq El Fadil. I mean, I still can't pronounce it. I know there's a lot of rolled syllables in there, but I still can't do that. Yeah, that's our good friend Sadiq El Tahil El Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmad Abdul Karim El Mahdi. It's a good name. Nana Visitor is also a very good name. Here we have Colin Meaney, also a good name. Rene Aubergenois. You know, the only person in this room with a kind of boring name is Dax as Terry Farrell. Terry Farrell is it's okay, but everyone else's names are much more fun to say. Rene Aubergenois, Nana Visitor, Sadiq El whatever, Colin Meaney, and Armin Shimmerman. Armin Shimmerman's fun to say. Is Farrell Irish? I have no idea. It might also be Pharrell. I think it's Farrell, but maybe it's Pharrell. I really don't know. See, no hat, tragically. If he just wore a fancy hat, he would have been the Kai. He does have a fancy earring, but it's true, his is fancier than Kira's earring. But if you want to be the space pope, if you want to be the space pope, you need a big hat. Popes, pirates, miscellaneous religious leaders. He's very chill though. He's a very relaxed man. Philip here. What was his last name? His name is Philip something. Vedic Barile actor. Philip Charles Anglim. Philip Anglim. You know what I'm gonna do after this stream? I'm gonna get a screenshot of Vedic Barile, and I'm gonna get a screenshot of Vedic Win, and I'm gonna give Barile the Sydney Opera House hat. Vedic Barile deserves the hat. I mean, I'm on Amazon. I'm watching the Amazon version right now. But if I click the button that says cast, because they're not all on screen right now, because it's 28 people. If I click the button, it pauses the episode, and then I'm out of sync with everyone. So I just have to look it up. Maybe if I have two tabs open at the same time. Yeah, it's on Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, CBS All Access. It's on just about anything. Yeah. Um, I can risk showing a little bit of a clip. That's probably fine. So here's the Amazon video version. Here's the cast and trivia. Also, the trivia is basically always wrong, I've found. I don't even look at the trivia. But if I click on cast, yeah, it pauses the episode for me, which is not great. So tragically, I can't use that to look everyone up. It's okay, I type fast. I can look people up. I fixed your sync issue by pausing it briefly. I mean, how big of an issue could it be? It's not like you have the audio from the show coming in. You don't need to be exactly perfectly synchronized to the frame. You can have a few seconds buffer. Oh, that's got to be really awkward for Cisco. Just having Kira staring at him as she goes down. That thing really needs doors. That really needs doors on the turbo lift. Is Kira wearing the exact same thing again? Kira, do you have more than one outfit? I guess I shouldn't complain because I also have one outfit. So yeah, I don't know why I'm getting on her back about this. I do exactly the same thing. All of my outfits are exactly the same. It's just multiple copies of one. It makes it very easy to pick out clothing. No, she has a robe here. It's a robe. It's not a vest this time. Did Kira cut her hair? She totally changed her hair when she came here. Why would she do that? I don't think this is the same place as the holodeck. I remember the place where Data was whistling had a lot more, or I feel like it had a lot more elevation change, elevation variation. This place looks fairly flat. What do you mean sober, Ryle? No one wants to feel useless. I can't have a caves counter. If I had a caves counter, I'd be updating it every single episode. They have one cave set. They literally only built one cave set and use it for everything. That would be so much effort to keep updated. It's so much work though. I'd have to keep going over to my thing and typing it in like 3 times an episode. It's just work. We'll be seeing those same caves today actually in this episode and probably the next one. Oh, the collaborators where we get the vision with him in the Kai hat. I knew we get him a vision of him with the Kai outfit at some point. I thought it was at this point. I thought it was in this episode, but yeah, it might be the collaborator. That makes sense. All right. Let's see, based on what we know of Deep Space Nine later seasons and later episodes in this season, how much of this is going to be wrong? I mean, obviously, the exact details are going to change a little bit, but broad strokes, how much of this is going to be correct? This is correct. This happens. We're one for one so far. Yep, I mean, Boreal still exists, so. Is that two for two? I think that's two for two, calling her out for blasphemy, or at least shouting blasphemy. And that would make this three for three, because Kira and Boreal become a thing later on. Very prophetic indeed. Okay, it looks like, yeah, broad strokes, everything that was in that prophecy. Broad strokes, everything in the orb of prophecy was actually correct. That's nice. Bajoran Regional Com Network routing code 4788976. I think that's what it said. What's over? I mean, that seems like a bit of an extreme reaction, Quark. Okay, maybe he's not overreacting. That's pretty severe, actually. Kind of Krasari. Maybe the Krasari are delivering bioweapons. Flowery bioweapons. You know, the Krasari would actually be excellent at that. Because the Krasari, they could mask the bioweapons to smell like lovely flowers so everyone is compelled to breathe deeply. And then they get a huge dose of the poison and it's just a whole thing. Never trust the Krasari. Do you mean the orchids in Picard that bring down that go and latch onto the spaceships and bring them down? Hey, there's another picture of a Ferengi in the background. Well, it's actually the same picture of the Ferengi. Yeah, man. Those orchid ships, those orchid weapons were so Star Trek. Those were unbelievably Star Trek. I can't think of any series where big space orchids would be more fitting. Also, this feels illegal. This feels like extortion. Yeah, we'll do. It won't. Hmm. So the other shows. Right now we're only doing TNG and DS9, and I'm keeping it limited to 2 days. So in like a year, when TNG and DS9 are done, then I'll probably switch to Voyager and Enterprise, and then once Enterprise is done, switch that to, I don't know, something else. One of the other shows. If I keep doing this that long, we'll see. So not the new Trek for a while, but at some point. TOS, TOS at some point. TOS is actually my least favorite Star Trek series. Maybe the animated series would be a good one to do because the animated series is the only one I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen the animated series. I mean, I like TOS. It's just the one I like the least. I just like all the other series more than I like TOS. There are some, I believe the term these days is problematic aspects of some of the episodes. Um, if you remember that part in TOS, I think it's from the episode Turnabout Intruder, but it that episode where Kirk is split into an evil half and a good half. There's that scene where the evil half assaulted. Is it Majel Baird or is it someone else? He assaults some female officer on the ship. And then when everyone else finds out about it, Yeoman Rand. And then Good Kirk goes and talks to her, and she says that whole thing about, "No, sir, I would never have told anyone. I would never have reported. You're my superior officer. I would never go against you." And that's a very concerning bit of dialogue. That's not okay. Turnabout Intruder is the one where he switches bodies with. Yeah. That one also has issues. I don't really remember much about that one. But yeah, the one where Evil Kirk and then Yeoman Rand is like, "I would never report you for assaulting me because you're my superiors." Yeah, no, that's a bad one. That's a bad scene. Oh, Vedic We do love Vedic though. Vedic pretty great. I mean, yeah, it was the 60s. It just makes it a bit painful to watch here in the 20s. Again, I still like TOS, but there are some scenes that haven't aged well. Oh, if you remember the episode Omega Glory. The Omega Glory is, I think that's the last TOS episode I rewatched, and the only reason I rewatched it was because everyone was saying how terrible it was, and I couldn't remember what happened in it. So I went and rewatched it for the sake of seeing some terrible TV. And oh boy, I got some terrible TV, and it was great. That was terrible in a way that's not uncomfortable to watch. It's terrible in a way that's fun to laugh at. That's the one where Kirk recites the Declaration of Independence, or maybe it was the Constitution. Oh man, it's a terrible episode, and it's great. Oh, you're thinking The arena was the one where he fights the Gorn. I haven't rewatched that one recently. I should rewatch the Gorn episode. See, there are some episodes I do want to rewatch because they're so cheesy and weird. It's just, oh well. Again, I like TOS. I just like the other series more. That's all I'm saying. Well, at least the General and Cisco are being very polite with each other. I'm sure that'll continue through this episode and the next. It'll be great. In my opinion, TNG and DS9 are tied for best. After that, it gets harder to pick. Hey, he's earning some brownie points with the General here. General's a pretty cool guy. I would probably say TNG DS9 together, Voyager and Enterprise together, then Discovery, then Picard, then TOS. But again, I like all of them. It's just a matter of how I like them relative to each other. Lower Decks is also okay, but it hasn't even finished the first season, so I'm leaving it. I'm leaving Lower Decks out for now. I haven't actually watched the yesterday's episode. I still need to watch that one. I I will never apologize for ranking TOS down there. Come on, Lee Nollis, what are you doing? Kira would have had this cleared up 30 minutes ago. Lee Nollis is not doing a good job as first officer here. He's doing his best, but he's not used to this kind of work. You can't just put him in charge of this stuff. Just profiling these poor Krasari. What did the Krasari ever do to you? Oh, Kira's different now. No, Kira, stop smiling like that and stop talking all softly. That's not who you are, Kira. What has Vedic Boreal done to you? Find someone to shout at. You know what the best thing about Discovery is that it made Captain Pike into the second best captain in all of Star Trek. Second only to Picard, and honestly, Strange New Worlds, now that we're getting more of Pike, he might even overtake Picard. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, Kara's been over here being useless for a good week and ain't got no clue what's going on anymore. She's gone all passive. Oh yeah, we're getting a lot more Pike. We're getting a whole new series, Strange New Worlds, starring Anson Mount as Captain Pike. And Ethan Peck as Spock. And the person whose name I don't remember is number one. But that same person from Discovery. Rebecca, that's right. Rebecca Ramjan. Oh, triangle ship. We got a triangle ship, and it was flying in reverse this time. That ship was distinctly triangular. We're up to 5 triangles. I don't know why it was flying backwards in this episode, but it all works out, I guess. And here's that one cave set. The exact same cave set. In fact, I recognize that ledge from the episode where Garrett goes to talk to his Cardassian contact. And it's also the same ledge when Damar, Kira, and Garrick beam down onto the planet when it's occupied by the Dominion. And people are being shot at the bottom here. It's the exact same cave. They have one cave set. Nah, man, the villains don't. Well, only one villain is standing on a ledge here. But before that, that ledge is used for Cardassian, who's actually helping our friends. And then our heroes beam down onto the ledge. It's a good ledge on average. Oh, we're going to see the cave back in the Maquis. Oh, yeah, we are, aren't we? Because they're going to take Gul Dukat prisoner and he's going to be hanging out on the ledge. No, this is a set. This is not a natural cavern. They just keep a cavern set. They also paint the walls sometimes, or like fill it with fog machines. They'll put in some extra paper mache rocks occasionally. I mean, where are they even going to get a cave? Where are you supposed to get a cave next to a major city, next to the filming lot? Where are they supposed to get a cave? Just make your own cave. It's way easier. You have to get all the actors out there. You have to get the makeup team out there. It's a whole thing. Oh, come on, Minister Jaro. Minister Jaro, why would you do this? We're all supposed to be friends here. Bajor for the Bajorans, and he is here torturing fellow Bajorans. I mean, there are a couple of quarries in Los Angeles. Maybe they could. Maybe there's a cave there they could film. Because they used the quarry in DS9 for a couple episodes. The ship and Rocks and Shoals. They probably don't look like that, though. Even if there are caves there. I mean, Quark is absolutely correct here. He has been blackmailed into helping here. Which, I mean, Odo, you can't. This is where. These are the kinds of scenes where it feels like Odo really is a founder. He has the founder instincts in him where he just. He wants to be a little bit evil. Do we even know that he can fight well? All he did so far was shoot a Cardassian in his underwear and then get escorted home by other people. And that turbolift still needs doors. I don't know. I mean, Odo is fairly neutral, but is he really lawful? Is he really lawful? Because he just blackmails and extorts people, and I feel like that's not. I feel like that's not lawful. Oh, we see Ferenginar later in the series. It's well, we don't see old Ferenginar. Ferenginar at the point in the show is kind of it's kind of messed up from all the heavy industry and the the complete lack of concern for the environment and the sludge everywhere and the acid pits. Frankenar's not a nice place anymore. That was some solid climbing from Siddiq there. I'd be worried about damaging those paper mache rocks with how quick he was climbing up those things. So we've established they can transport from the caves just now. They absolutely can do that. Do they want to maybe beam one of the other people up for questioning? Transport them behind a force field or something? I mean, you you get a lot of information from someone there. I guess maybe they don't need information at this point. They pretty much know what's going on. Siddiq Al Tahil Al Fadl Abdurrahman Muhammad Akman Al Abdul Karim Al Makti looks very concerned about this whole situation. He's not having a good time here. They're not really giving him many lines, so I guess he's doing the best he can. No, I'm not. I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm not going to. I spent a good chunk of time learning how to pronounce that man's name, and I'm going to keep using that knowledge. Admiral Chakotay? Silly Cisco, Chakotay's not an admiral. He's not even in Starfleet. What are you talking about? Oh, we're going to get the balcony scene. As we all know, the very important balcony scene where they and their noses talk to each other. And she's like, make me the leader of Bajor. And he says, okay. You know, he's definitely not talking about Chakotay. He's talking about someone. Actually, we do see Admiral Chakotay at some point. Not, Admiral Chakotay the Maquis, but we should see Admiral Chakotay the Starfleet in just a few minutes. Is he in Starfleet still? Is he actually? God, I can't get over her hat. It's a very nice hat. Is there anywhere you can buy that hat? Has anyone done like a Halloween costume of a Vedic outfit with their fancy Sydney Opera House hat? Let's see. Star Trek Vedic costume. Oh, I found. Hang on. There's this chick. I don't know who this is. But this chick got a Vedic outfit with the hat. Very fancy hat it is. Honestly, it looked like that lady actually won an auction and got the original outfit. If that wasn't the original outfit, that's very impressive work. Yeah, see, Bejor looks like it has a very hot climate. Let's talk about the last episode. It doesn't look like you would need very warm clothing just in general as a culture, because it looks like a desert planet. That part is certainly a desert, but even the other areas we see look pretty. Even the other areas of Bejor we see look pretty hot. Hot and dry. Also, this is Star Trek and biomes don't exist. All planets are exactly one biome. That's how it works here. Oh, here's Admiral Chakotay. There he is. Yeah, that doesn't look like Mr. Akuchimoya here. That man would never say Akuchimoya. We are far from the bones of our people. Doesn't even have a tattoo. What kind of Chakotay are you? So, what do you. This doesn't seem like a very good use of the Prime Directive. I mean, it's probably correct. I'm not saying he's applying it wrong here, but are we sure we want to apply the Prime Directive here? This seems like a bad idea. This seems like. If you remember that TNG episode about the Maquis, there's that admiral who colludes with the Cardassians to kill some Majorans. Is that what's happening here? Is Admiral Chakotay working with the Cardassians? Because he was real quick to say, just leave. He was real quick to order Sisko away. "7 hours from Bajor to the station. What worthless ships. Absolutely worthless ships. Alright. Next episode is. Well, apparently the next episode is going to be an ad. But hey, whatever, man. Next episode is going to be the siege. Siege. It's going to be a siege in any case. The siege. Put on the timer. No breaks. 5-minute break, and then we begin again. I'm I'm hungry too, Twift. But I'm not getting my food till after this is done. Oh, by the way, we need the jazz. Beautiful. What shape do you suppose those assault ships are going to be? So, in this episode, the siege is still really hard to draw, and especially hard to write with a mouse. So, the siege. Hopefully we're getting some triangle ships here. Some triangular assault ships. This is Deep Space Nine, by the way. This isn't a TIE fighter. There, that's what the station looks like, right? That's DS9. And it has a docking ring. There we go. Oh, it is blurred. There we go. Triangle ships, DS9. Here are the docking pylons. Here's the docking ring. So hopefully, this isn't to scale, by the way. The Bajoran completely worthless ships are not going to be the size of DS9. So we're going to get... They're going to come over. They're going to come over to play. And then... There's going to be like some... They're going to be in the Jeffries tubes. And they're going to be like hanging out and crawling along. And they're going to be like sitting here. And this is O'Brien, and he's very short. This isn't a child, this is just O'Brien. And he's gonna have some ration packs, and then Lee Nollis is gonna be there. And he's gonna have some ration packs. And O'Brien's gonna be like, I hate these. These are awful. But Lee Nollis with his nose is gonna be like, man, it's been so long since I've had ration packs since I've been in the field. I am completely happy with this. I don't know who this is, by the way. Don't worry about it. Lee Nollis is gonna love it. And then, what else is gonna happen? They're going to be in a hollow suite. These are hollow projectors here on the ceiling. And there's gonna be... No, there's no screen. There's actually just speakers. That's not a shower head, those are speakers. And the Bajorans who go in here, they're gonna have some guns. We're going out of order here. I'm just writing things as I remember them about the episode. They're gonna come in, and then they're going to be trapped in here. They're gonna be trapped in the hollow suites, and then Cisco's gonna be like, hey, you guys are working for the Cardassians, you idiots. What are you doing? Absolutely ridiculous. What is the point of you as a bloody terrorist group working with the enemy? So they're going to be stuck in here. And then the leader man is going to be transported back to Ops. Is Siddiq in this? I have no idea what Siddiq is going to be doing here. They get back to Ops, and then they have the big view screen. And earlier in the episode, they're gonna get a call from First Minister Jaro and his nose. And the guy who gets transported later on is gonna be like, hey, we did it, there's no one on the station. And then the actual general who knows what the heck is going on and isn't an idiot, it's gonna be like, no, they're still on this station, you dummy. They haven't left, they're just in the Jeffries tubes. And then this part where he gets transported back to Ops happens later. So really it's like there, and then there. And then that goes around like that. Okay, back to the episode. We're gonna be pressing play in 10 seconds. This Siege, Season 2, Episode 3. We'll get Siddiq's full name when he appears on screen. In 2, 1, play. We'll get Siddiq's name when he shows up, but he's not here yet. The thing about Siddiq's name, that clip I found where he pronounces it himself, he says, what is this on my desk? It's like a big string on my desk. Why is there a string on my desk? Oh, yep, we got reminded of Kira shooting Silik. That's good. Siddiq's name. When he pronounces it, he says Siddiq El Tahil El Fadil Abdurrahman El Muhammad Ahmed. No, Muhammad Ahmed El Abdul Karim El Makti. But when you look at how it's written down, there's an extra El Siddiq in there that he doesn't say. And he says El Abdul Karim when it's just Abdul Karim written down. So he added an extra L in there. But I'm going to assume that he said it right. So I'm not gonna doubt his pronunciation of his own name there. It's just a bit incongruous with what Wikipedia says. Oh hey, there's the general that's gonna call his buddy an idiot, because, I mean, his buddy is gonna be an idiot. That same cave scene, good. We should be seeing the cave again. Well, maybe. I'm not sure, really. Oh, there he is. There's Sadiq al-Tahil al-Fadl Abdurrahman Muhammad Akbar al-Abdul Karim al-Mahdi. We saw him in a flashback, at least. Yeah, there's Louise Fletcher, but Louise Fletcher, I mean, it's a fine name, but it's not actively fun to say. So she can stay Vedic Win. Here he is again. He's still looking very grumpy. I was about to say, why does she look like she's about to cry? I was like, oh, yeah, that's a fair reason. I'm not sure what the science project has to do with Bejor. Also, oh, geez, did you see that man on the left in the blue uniform? His eyebrows were very clearly sharpied on. That man did not have eyebrows. Hopefully the camera pans back to the left so we can see him again. Come on, pan left. Further left. Here we go, that guy. Right behind Cisco. The guy in the blue uniform. That guy does not have eyebrows. He also has something on his cheek, but I'm not sure if that's makeup or if that's just the dude's skin. But his eyebrows were sharpied on. Do you think Eyebrow Man is going to evacuate? No, Eyebrow Man isn't evacuating. He's going to hang out. Did his eyebrows evacuate? Is that what's happening here? You know that now that I'm looking at Cisco, he doesn't really have. Does Cisco even have eyebrows? I can't tell if that's an eyebrow or a shadow. Does Avery Brooks have eyebrows? They're he does, but they're very, very light. Does he does he trim his eyebrows to half a millimeter? What's going on here? Hang on, let me find more pictures of Avery Brooks. What's going on with his eyebrows? You know who doesn't have eyebrows? Let me get a picture here. You know who doesn't have eyebrows? Guinan. Guinan does not have eyebrows. Whoopi Goldberg and her lack of eyebrows. But I mean, with Whoopi Goldberg, it looks like a stylistic choice. So I don't understand her stylistic choice because she doesn't have eyebrows and that's kind of weird. But hey, if she doesn't want to have eyebrows, that's fine. Sharpie dude, look, I guess that's a stylistic choice too, but you need to work on your execution. You need to work on your Sharpie skills. I'm just looking at I'm just looking for more pictures of Avery Brooks to look at his eyebrows. Like, does are th- yeah, he does. They're just very faint. Does he trim them really short, or is that just how they look? Questions we'll never know the answer to. Unfortunately, Avery Brooks does not go to conventions, so we won't be able to ask him if he trims his eyebrows. Are there pictures of Whoopi Goldberg with eyebrows, other than photoshopped ones? Here's a picture of Whoopi Goldberg with eyebrows. I mean, it's photoshopped, but what are you gonna do? The woman doesn't have eyebrows. All right, back to the episode. Things are happening. Oh, see, Rom's being nice for the moment. He's not even considering fleecing these people. I don't know. Is Whoopi Goldberg a stage name? Whoopi Goldberg name. Whoopi Goldberg's real name is Karen Johnson. Whoopi Goldberg is her screen name. It's her username. I mean, of course he would exploit you for profit. What's that rule of acquisition? Um, exploitation begins at home. Exploitation begins at home. You have to exploit your family. Rio Grande. I mean, I guess that's actually a good pronunciation, but it's different than it. Yeah, but we know Nog's gonna be okay if he's on the Rio Grande. Man, I just looking at Nog, all I can think of now that someone mentioned it a few a few watch alongs ago, and this man is 24 years old, maybe 25 at the point of this filming. Do you think he do you think Aaron felt weird interacting with a 12, 13-year-old kid? Do you think do you think people who are very concerned about canon are upset about Jake referencing French? Because I mean, in season one of TNG, French is referred to as an obscure dead language. Therefore, Jake shouldn't know it, right? Complete violation of established canon. How dare the writers of this episode violate canon so brazenly like that? The fiends, the Cardis. Oh, Brian, you can't call them the Cardis. What are you doing, man? You're supposed to be past this prejudice. You're gonna be calling them spoonheads next. What's the matter with you? It sure sounds like a slur. Do you ever refer to someone as a Cardi to their face? They always say the full Cardassian. You know, there are a couple of YouTube channels that are purely devoted to hating anything new and different in Trek, and they'll often talk about perceived canon violations. I really want to make a video about canon violations in the best episodes in the best series of Star Trek, because they absolutely are canon violations just constantly. Just every episode of every series, canon is violated. Canon and Star Trek do not go together. Did Tobin die in the shuttlecraft, or was that someone else? Was Tobin the one who crashed the shuttle? Oh, Tarius Dax in the shuttle. Okay. Oh, Cisco. Cisco, you're. Why are you absolutely untrue to Gene Roddenberry's utopian vision of the future here? Look at this. The worst possible series I've ever seen of all of Star Trek. A Starfleet commander choking out a man. Look at this. This is ridiculous. You're a complete violation of everything Star Trek stands for. Boycott Deep Space Nine. Never watch it. No, Tobin wasn't the psycho. Jadzia doesn't know about him yet. Jadzia doesn't know about the murderer at this point. Her memory is being suppressed. Durandax was the murderer, yeah. What did Tobin do? Does anyone here even remember Tobin? Because Tarai died in the shuttle. Duran was the murderer. What did. Who the heck is Tobin? I mean, I recognize the name, of course, but what did he do? He was a vegetarian. He bit his nails. He was unimaginative. He was bad at magic tricks. He didn't really do much of anything. Yeah, so far Leonalis has been pretty useless. He's doing a good job here. Good on you, Leonalis. Oh, hey, Morn. Morn has a ticket. Does Morn get to go on the runabout? Also, do these people get their money back? Yeah, Morn gets to go. Oh man, how is Morn supposed to unzip that thing? There's a zipper going all the way down the center of his back. And that thing, I mean, something like a dress, I imagine you can sort of twist around a little bit to get a better angle on it. That thing is not going to move at all. That is stuck right in the center of his back. And that man has arms like a foot thick. There is no way he can reach back there. Why are all the Ferengi pronouncing it Rio Grande, but all the humans pronounce it Rio Grande? Does this count as evil Rom? I don't think this counts as evil Rom. Because he's doing exactly the same thing that Quark was doing. Just too Quark. Who are you even shouting to, Quark? The runabouts physically aren't there anymore. Well, Quark, your own greed came back and bit you. Those ships are triangular. Those ships are extremely triangular, if I've ever seen triangle ships. We're only counting one count per episode, though. One count per episode. So we're already up to 6 triangle ships in just started season 2. Nice of them to leave all the lights on and everything running this time. What are you gonna? General, what are you planning to do with the Bajoran officers who worked with Starfleet? Because I mean, they were assigned there by the people you work for. What are you gonna? You can't hate them for that. You know, maybe if the Bajorans had ships worth anything, they could scan the station for human life signs. But nope, their ships are completely worthless. They do absolutely nothing. Also, why is Dax out of uniform here? Why is Kira in a uniform, but Dax is not? I guess so she doesn't get recognized as a Starfleet officer in case she runs into someone. That makes sense, actually. She does have to walk around Bajor at least a little bit. Or Bajor and Moon or wherever they are. How much worse could it get? Look at how much rust is on that thing. I would not trust that thing in space. I would absolutely not trust the seals on that ship. Wait, but that thing. Wait, look at that thing that just closed. It has little slits all along it, so you can see outside. That's not space worthy at all. I hope they don't take that out of atmosphere. They absolutely better not take that out of atmosphere. They're just gonna die immediately. You see what I mean about Bajoran ships being worthless? What are they even supposed to do with that thing? Spacefaring culture doesn't even make spaceships. But if it is an in-atmosphere aircraft, why is it not even vaguely aerodynamic? Why is it shaped like a Federation shuttlecraft? It doesn't have wings, it doesn't have like a sleek shape, it's not good at much of anything. And should it even if it is just an aircraft, should it really have that grating on the side? Yeah, the general knows what's up. That's quite a voice this man has. I like it. Does Minister Jaro have to look so evil here, though? Could he get some, like, overhead lighting and maybe tilt the camera up slightly? Does he have to look evil here? Why are you looking down like that, Minister? Get a chair or something. Or at least tilt your head down. You're just standing there fully upright, looking down. Can he even see the screen past his own cheekbones with the angle his head is at? Can he do that? Does Can the First Minister direct the Vedic Assembly to do that? I mean, surely Barial wouldn't go along with it. I don't think we meet many other Vedics, but those are some nice hydraulics on that ship set. Oh, hydraulics are done. Oh no. So you guys docked with like 5 or 6 triangle ships. You could do. You want to use the scanners on those? Maybe try and find your opponents here. See what's going on. No, just gonna hang out. So I'm unclear with the dynamic, what the chain of command is here. Could the general just tell him no? That lady looks a lot like Janeway. Mostly her hair. Is it just me, or does that woman look exactly like Captain Janeway? Oh no, I got it. I got it mixed up. Or Cardassian. O'Brien loves them. Lee Nollis hates them. I thought it was the other way around. I mean, I get why Dax changed out of her uniform, but why are they out of uniform? I mean, if the Bajorans find them, the lack of uniforms isn't going to help. They still have their communicators, at least. So I mean, that's nice of them. I'm also a bit unclear as to why Sadiq El Tahil Fadl Abdul Command Maham Dakman Al Bukrim Al Makti is in command of this rebel group. Maybe you should swap someone into that group who has combat experience, because the doctor doesn't. Maybe like have Cisco lead group 1 and then O'Brien lead group 2, because O'Brien has combat experience. Oh, well, Janeway's happy about this. Okay, so it does have wings. They're not the kinds of wings that would actually work in atmosphere. Those wings are just for looks. They are clearly not going to work like an aircraft. And they're in space right now. So, given that they're in space right now, and there are big gratings all along the side of the ship, how is this ship supposed to work? Is it being held by force fields? What's going on here? It's a good tricorder. Good range on that thing. Yeah. Look at this entire episode. I mean, this episode goes against everything Star Trek ever believed in. It completely violates canon. Cisco choked a man. completely violates everything we know and love about Star Trek. DS9 is clearly the worst thing to ever happen to this series. Gene Roddenberry is rolling in his grave at this. How dare they? They're they're doing okay. They're I mean, I would really hope those Bajorans that are shooting at them would have reported to the general that they're taking fire. But I get the feeling they're not going to do that. Is that a is that supposed to be a grenade? Wait, what did you just do? It's a smoke bomb. I mean that's okay. Oh, I see. I thought that was one of the evil Bajorans that threw that. It's like what is the point here? No, that was our guys that threw it to give them cover. All right, they're back in the atmosphere. Just point and shoot. It's a metaphor, Kara. You used the same metaphor earlier. Don't you get snarky now. Okay. Did did Kira just murder those people? Self-defense and all that, but I mean, I think Kira just killed someone. Perfect. So there's all this debate going on about well, basically how gravity works in a spaceship. I have a hypothesis. I'm just getting a bit of drawing done on Blair. So some people are saying, what if you accelerate the ship constantly upward? That's going to be pretty problematic on long flights because you're going to start going up real fast. You're going to hit a very high velocity there pretty quick. I have an alternate hypothesis. So suppose the ship's flying along this way. It's flying along to the right. And then as it's flying along, it's just constantly doing this. Sorry, the other way. It's just going far to the right and just spinning the whole time, except in a larger radius. It's tumble dryer technology. A much larger radius though, otherwise you're going to be accelerating toward the nose of the ship. How long are you planning to keep them there, Cisco? Do you are you going to be keeping them there long enough that they need rations? I don't I still don't understand. I've seen this episode quite a few times. I don't understand why this guy lies to the general. Why does he lie to the general? Because, I mean, lying or not, that bit about the Cardassians is pretty important. You should probably mention that. Spinning gravity, I was joking about the spinning gravity. That if you have something like a. Nope, that's a square. I wanted a circle. Suppose you have a round ship. If you if you spin it around the center, pretend this is a perfect circle, then that would work very well. You would have effectively gravity going outward. You would have gravity over here. That would work fine. But having a ship rotating like this probably isn't really a great plan. This probably isn't gonna work. That seems like you're just gonna make the ship spin out of control. Now the question I have a question, another question. The anesthetizing gas, are they replicating it right now? Or does the station just have this big storage tank of anesthetizing gas just in case they need to knock out the entire population of the station? Where are they getting the anesthetizing gas? If it's stored in a big tank on the station, what other substances do they have stored that they could poison people with? Yeah, it's probably thinking about the science of Star Trek and how it should actually work in real life. That's a good way to make yourself go crazy because I mean, the answer is always going to be it wouldn't. It wouldn't work. Subspace isn't a thing, by the way. Subspace doesn't actually exist. I guess warp drive is very, very, very theoretically possible. It's very, very theoretical. But yeah, most of Star Trek doesn't really work. Universal Translator doesn't make any sense. Oh, here's the bit of yeah, we saw this earlier in the Orb Vision, Kira's Orb Vision. We got Dax in the fancy hat. The fancy hat and the nice orange robe. Now does Kira get a fancy hat? Does Kira not get a hat? Now, Bashir, you're not wrong. Does this count as space racism? He's just assuming Quark is carrying Latinum around with him. Just because he's a Ferengi. It's almost like Quark forgot about that point that Siddiq was threatening to snap his neck and was doing the scary whispering behind him in the dark. Should be more careful, Quark. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. God, Colonel Day is just the worst. What is the point of Colonel Day? Have they surrendered? Nope, that. General. General, this is a trap. This is absolutely a trap. Don't do it, General. Nailed it. You know, the uniforms the General and Linalis are wearing, they're very reminiscent of later DS9 uniforms. Yeah, Kira got her fancy hat in the end. Only briefly. Only briefly, but she did get a fancy hat. Now, I am curious as to what Vedic Win is doing there. Because Vedic Win is definitely not part of the provisional government. She's not part of whatever council this is. I understand that First Minister Jaro brought her in, but I would think that the other ministers are objecting here. Yeah, worked exactly the same in Enterprise, except they had the Kirshara. I assume Dax's spots are gone for the same reason Dax has a Bajoran nose now. Just a bit of alteration to get in. Of course, she wouldn't have needed to hide the spots at all, because she had her fancy hat. And her fancy hat covered the side of her head. It was a whole hood thing. But whatever. It all works out. Yeah, Colonel Day's kind of awful at his job. Colonel Day is totally getting fired here. He's just the worst. Why don't you pronounce it, Mitchell? Why do I? Why don't you get in the Discord channel and say Siddiq's full name if you want to hear it so bad? You get in here and you say it yourself, making me say Siddiq's full name every time he's on screen. My goodness. Well, that worked. That worked itself out. Don't have to worry about Colonel Day anymore. And Nollis doesn't have to deal with all this stuff that he hates. Worked out for everyone involved. Yeah, that doesn't count. You're not allowed to type it. And for one, you copy and pasted it wrong. You didn't even copy and paste it correctly. You missed the S in Siddiq. My goodness. You get in the Discord and you pronounce it. Shell, pronounce it.
All right, I got you, Mitchell. It's Siddle. I can't even say it. Siddiq El Tahir El Fadl El Siddiq Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed Abdel Karim El Mahdi.
There you go, Mitchell. You got your Siddiq al Tahil al Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Akban al Abu Karim al Makti. Now you got two of them. Now it's your turn to get in here and try to pronounce it. And that's the story we're sticking with, O'Brien. And if you tell anyone any differently, you're going to be court martialed. Yeah, sure it is, Mitchell. We all believe you. Can't even pronounce Siddiq al Tahil al Fadil Abdulrahman Muhammad Ahmed al Abdul Karim al Makti. My goodness. Yeah, nobody mentioned the story about Linala shooting a man in his underwear. We don't have to talk about that.
Hey Ryan, do you do classes on how to pronounce it?
No. Oh, sure. Sure. You want a class on how to pronounce it? It's Siddiq, emphasis on the second syllable. Siddiq. Siddiq. Now your turn.
Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to be following along. Siddiq,
El Tahil. Tahil.
El
With
Tahil,
and try and roll the L like a rolled RL sound if you can. I can't, but
El,
it's Tahil.
El
Yeah, I can't do
Tarhil, El Tarhil. Ah,
No, not the last part. And then
El Tahil, El Tarhil.
there you go. And then it's El Fadil in the same way, except Siddiq didn't actually roll the R in that word. El Tahil, El Fadil.
El Tahil, El Fadil.
There you go. And then it's Abdurrahman. I'm just
Ab-
exaggerating that sound, but Abdurrahman.
Abdurrahman,
Yeah.
Abdurrahman,
I'm exaggerating the sound. You don't have to repeat it exaggerated, but Abdurrahman.
Abdurrahman,
Close enough. Abdurrahman. Muhammad Ahmed.
Abdurrahman,
Muhammad Ahmed.
Muhammad Ahmed,
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Then it's
What?
El
I thought
Abd.
you had this memorized.
I do. I'm just thinking of your pronunciation. Is it close enough to move on to the next segment of the lesson? Siddiq El Tahil El Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed El Abdul Karim El Makti. I know the name. And then after Muhammad Ahmed, it's either Abdul Karim or El Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim.
Wait, where are you getting this? That's not what's on the wiki. It's slightly
No,
different.
I'm doing it as Siddiq pronounced it on that show when he actually said it out loud. The Wikipedia entry is a little different.
Huh.
He also left out the El Siddiq.
Right. Siddiq Al Tahir El Fadil El Siddiq
El
not
Fadil.
El Siddiq.
You can say El Siddiq if you want. Not Siddiq, Siddiq.
Siddiq. Right.
You can say the El Siddiq if you want. It's in his name. He just didn't pronounce it in that little clip.
Gotcha.
In fact, let me find that clip of him saying it again. El Fadil saying his full name. Okay, here's the show. Let's see. Okay. Let me change my sound setup very quickly. Unblur.
صديق الطاهر
I can't wait,
عبد
Mitchell.
الرحمن محمد أحمد عبد الكريم المهدي. That's very Arabic. الفاضل.
You need to hear it.
You want to
Here
hear
it is.
I want to hear all of it.
صديق الطاهر الفاضل عبد الرحمن محمد أحمد عبد الكريم المهدي. That's.
So I'm trying. It's not easy to pronounce. It's very Arabic. And I don't make the kinds of sounds that exist in Arabic regularly.
And doesn't he say like that's most of it or something like that?
فاضل عبد الرحمن محمد أحمد عبد الكريم المهدي. That's the first few.
Right. But
That's
you
the
haven't
first
said it.
few,
I'll
he
say it.
says.
So when,
That's the first. طاهر.
you need to hear it.
You want to hear it?
I want to hear all of it.
صديق الطاهر الفاضل عبد الرحمن محمد أحمد عبد الكريم المهدي.
I mean, what, did you think I was joking about that being his name? No, that's his name. It's a big name. Siddiq El Tahil El Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed El Abdulkarim El Mahdi. Or for the full version, Siddiq El Tahil El Fadil El Siddiq Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed El Abdulkarim El Mahdi. And then the last part, you haven't said the last part yet. El Mahdi. El Mahdi.
El Mahdi.
El Mahdi.
El Mahdi. El Mahdi.
Yeah, there you go.
El Mahdi. Mahdi.
So yeah, that's it for today. That's everything.
Thanks for the lessons.
Yeah, no problem. We have now heard him say it correctly. We've heard Siddiq say his name correctly. Yeah, in the first 2 seasons of DS9, his credit is Siddiq El Fadil, and then he changes it to Alexander Siddiq after season 2, maybe after season 3, because people couldn't really pronounce as it was. But in any case, we're done for the day. Next week is going to be... Oh, we're getting an episode with a Cardassian orphan. That's a good one. It's a good episode. And see you guys then, same time next week.